Hi. Today I'm gonna try to make myself look presentable. Hey Peaches, what is up? I wanted to do a little get ready with me, just kind of like chat through life right now and try to look a little bit better. Step one, I have my wax warming up because my lip, you guys, is also my chin. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of maintenance on. So anyways, while my wax is heating up, I want to tell you guys a few things. Number one, to jump right into this, in the giveaway that if you guys haven't seen my last video I'm doing until November the 14th, I ordered a perfume that had not come in yet. It came in. This one is mine. I told you guys in that video I ordered you guys one and me one, and it's the Fresh Vanilla from Pink. When I tell you this is my favorite body spray I think I've ever smelled. It's vanilla bean and orchid, and I just cannot get enough of this. So right now they have a deal. I think it's like 3 for $25 when normally the big sizes of this are $16.50, and your girl got a $15 off coupon. I think I'm gonna order 3 of them because that's how much I love this. So that's what it looks like. If you guys are interested in that giveaway, like I said, it's the last video, but I'll have it linked somewhere, I'm sure. Oh man. Okay, so let's just chat a little while my wax warms up. Number one, if you guys could do me a solid and not let me forget that I have a candle burning back here, that'd be awesome. I am going to do a what I got for my birthday video. I think what I got for my birthday video. It sounded like I said that backwards. I think I'm gonna film that right after I get done filming this video today. I'm like all over the place today. I don't know that this is relatable. I feel like it is. Sometimes I get really motivated to do something, like my work ethic is really good, but also my anxiety is really high. So I have this weird thing happen where they kind of cancel each other out. So it's like today on my mind right now, I'm like, let's clean the house. Let's like deep clean. Let's film 15 videos. Let's edit 25 videos. Like, I want to do a bunch of stuff, but then I have this anxiety creep in that's like, but you can't do all of those today. Also, the daylight saving thing, yeah, I'm done with already because it's literally dark at like 5 p.m. So it's a struggle not to go to sleep at like 5:30 p.m. But I think what I'm gonna try to start doing is getting up at like 7, even though here, I'm like, I don't know if you guys know this, but secret fact, I actually am super into weather. I always have been. That was like me and my dad's thing for some reason. And I don't know why. I don't know why that started. But anyways, if you ask me what the weather is going to be next week and what the temperature is going to be for the next 7 days, I can tell you. I know that the sun doesn't usually rise until like 7:50-ish here, but I feel like if I'm up at 7 or 7:30, I can kind of get my day started and dedicate the first little bit to like cleaning the house, you know, just getting it back in order. Then I can dedicate the next little bit to work, whether that's YouTube or my little Poshmark business, whatever needs to be done. And then I just kind of feel like I'll have better control of the day. So today I didn't start that. I was up and ready at 7:30, but then I was like, I don't know what I want to work on today. So I kind of feel like what happens to me is I get sat down and then I'm like, I guess I just won't work on anything, which makes me very angry at myself when the day's over and I haven't done anything. Anyway, anybody else? I don't know if you guys can tell a few things either. That's a Halloween bouquet that I bought myself. They have them at Publix and they're so dang cute. There's like one big sunflower I don't think you can see, but I'm like sad it's gonna die because that's what flowers do. 2, my skin is so dry right now. I don't think I've ever had like winter skin this bad this fast, but my chin, and I'm sure after waxing it, it's not gonna be any better. My chin is really dry. My nose, around my nose, you know how sometimes the front of your nose, like under your nose, and the sides of your nose, if you blow it a lot, I was trying not to say nose again because it started to sound weird in that sentence. If you blow your nose a lot, it starts to feel really dry. That's how my nose feels when I tell you I have not blown my nose in like a year and a half. So I feel like today I'm gonna do a little makeup so I can film, but that tomorrow I might film also, but do kind of like a spa day for myself. I do really want to take a bath tonight though, so we'll see what happens. I know this sounds like a bunch of random rambling, but it's fun. I wanted to catch up with you guys. I tried to film a video a few days ago and I had a mental breakdown, basically, in the middle of filming. I just feel like this looks so crappy on camera. I mean, it doesn't even look that much better in person, but it definitely looks crappy on camera. I wanted to do a like first impressions on my Nightmare Before Christmas palette that I'm giving away to you guys. I specifically haven't used it this whole time because I wanted to film a video on it. Then I got a new primer, eyelash primer, that it's the same one I used but a new bottle. I got a brand new mascara that I've never tried before. I had a bunch of new things to try. I don't know what happened. I sometimes just get this way where I get really mad at myself really fast, but really I think what was going on was the lighting on this camera in the viewfinder is terrible. Like the way that it looks on here right now, I know it's not going to look that way on my computer, but sometimes it's really hard to tell myself like it's not going to look like that. And when I was trying to do this makeup, I just felt like it was really dark and I just could not get a handle on it. Anyway, I stopped in the middle of filming and I was so mad the rest of that day. And now here we are. I hope you enjoyed this 7 minutes of me talking straight. I have a really big story time, if you will, to tell you guys, but we're gonna wait until we get going. I'm gonna wait for my wax to warm up, wax my whole face off, then we're gonna get started on this. I'm embarrassed. Okay, we got waxing done. I have my little lotion on. I did want to show you guys the lotion that I'm using because, funny story, I am one of those people that I always forget to cancel subscriptions until I've been charged the next time. And one that I constantly forget about, but I actually don't mind having, is the Walmart Beauty Box. It's only $5 per, I think, season, so I only get a couple boxes per year. But I got this yesterday. It's the Bliss Rose Gold Rescue Gentle Moisture Cream for Sensitive Skin. It's just like a small sample size, I guess. It's so nice though that I think I'm gonna go get the full size. It doesn't have much of a smell to it and it's like a really thick cream. And my skin, like I said, has been freaking out. So that's been really nice and it feels really good. So I remember when I first learned how to wax when I was in cosmetology school, I was like, I'm gonna buy my own wax kit, I'm gonna wax everything. And I did try one time to wax my stomach, like below my belly button, and that was one of the stupidest things I've done ever. So I'm just gonna use my little primer from Good Molecules. This is my favorite primer. It's the one that's in my giveaway. I don't know if I'm getting more sensitive skin or what's going on, but I definitely feel like some of the stuff that I usually, like I always use, I always buy, you know, new ones up, and I constantly use, for some reason now when I use it, my skin like is super red. I've noticed too, after I get out of the shower, I almost have like a butterfly rash going on. Could also be because my water in my shower is literally 900 million thousand degrees, so who knows. Okay, so I'm just gonna start kind of doing some stuff. If you guys have a question on something, please ask and I can definitely answer. I will say that I have completely forgotten about and fallen back in love with the Mario Badescu lip balm. Ain't nothing like special about the name of it or anything, but my lips have been so chapped and dry along with the rest of my skin, and I have tried so many lip balms lately and I'm like, these are not doing anything. And then I forgot about this one, tried it and was like, oh dang, yeah, this is the ticket. This year's not been anybody's year and I'm well aware of that. I am definitely like, I don't have a monopoly on that this has been not a great year for me. Really, it's not been a terrible year for me, but I did want to share a story with you guys now that I have a few answers, because I feel like this has really held me back from a lot this year, and if it is something that could possibly help another lady, like, definitely let me share it with you. That being said, I will give you a little forewarning that this is gonna have to do with some medical talk. If that's not your favorite thing, won't offend me if you just want to skip over this little part here. maybe a long part, I don't know. It's not gonna be anything like graphic or anything, but just so that you know that's what we're about to talk about. So last November, I started feeling kind of bad, and come to find out, I had my first ever UTI. Don't recommend doing that. And anyways, in March of this year, I had what I thought was another UTI. And to basically sum up that part of the story, like the beginning part of this that is so frustrating, is the first doctor that I went to was a gynecologist, and she, I feel like, just kind of wanted me out of her office. Like, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, bye. Like, that's how it felt. And I literally remember that on one of my visits with her, which I only went to her, I think, a total of 2 times. In one of my visits with her, I was asking her questions still, and she literally went and opened the door, and I was like, I'm not done. That's like one of my biggest pet peeves, is because I don't want to be at the doctor's office. I don't want to be here. I don't want to have any kind of medical, you know, thing going on. So like, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste your time. But if I have questions, like, I'm paying you to answer my questions. Am I not? So, wasn't impressed. Basically, after my visit with her, she was like, I don't know what's wrong. You're gonna need to go to a urologist. And I was like, okie dokie. So I'm like, again, this is like way back in March. I have such tremendous doctor and like medical anxiety that I just knew something terrible was wrong. Didn't know what, but like, it was gonna be really terrible news. I went to the urologist, and basically they said from that first infection, the doctor did not prescribe me medicine long enough, and she was just like, yeah, you're good to go. So they put me back on some medicine, an antibiotic, and were like, this should clear up all your problems. Well, and yes, you guys did hear that timeline right if you were paying attention. November all the way to March. And in March, they were like, it's still like, that was, she didn't completely check that out. So that was already one thing. Secondly, I finished those antibiotics. Loved the urologist that I went to. She was super, super sweet and nice and helpful, and made it clear, like, if there's any problem at all, like, call me back immediately. Okay, great. Well, I did several times actually, and I feel like I don't really like to do that. Again, medical anxiety, I just kind of want to be like, I'm probably fine. It'll probably go away in a day or two. But I just felt like something was just not right. And I remember asking one of my girlfriends that had had some UTIs before, and she said, like, yeah, basically after that first one, things just don't ever feel normal again. And so I was like, I guess this is my new life now. Which sounds really dramatic, but it was just getting really hard to work through sometimes. So I was still at my salon job at this point, which if you guys are new here, or if you did not missed that video and me talking about it, I ended up quitting my job at the salon. And I just remember a few times at work being like, I'm not gonna be able, I don't think, to get through today. And I never really have like pain like that. I don't have like medical problems, and so it was just really discouraging, and honestly it was very embarrassing to me. And the bigger thing was, it was almost like I couldn't really point exactly to where I was hurting, but I knew it was between, like, I guess a weird way to put it is like the bottom of my hip bones up to my belly button. So almost kind of like my bladder. I was like, something is just feels like wrong here. I think I'm gonna try a neutral look with this palette today. When I had my breakdown, I was trying to do a really creative, big, colorful look, and I want to see how this does for neutral looks too. So basically, I also don't like in the medical department to feel like I am bothering a doctor, like I keep having to call back. And I remember at the first office that I kept having to call back to, the one lady I kept talking to, a nurse there, was so rude to me every time I called, that the last time I called back and I said, I still have, like, you know, a weird, like, pain somewhere. I can't really place my finger on what's going on here. Like, what do we do? Because you guys told me to call back if I had an issue. And I remember apologizing to her because she sounded that put out with me. I was just like, I'm sorry, like, for calling. Ugh, anyways, makes me angry. So I go to the urologist. We go through several visits. I literally am seeing that urologist, I think, from like March until my last visit was August or maybe even September. So just like occasionally every once in a while coming back, she wanted to keep checking on some things with me, and we kept trying some different things. So I also mentioned, what color do I want to use? I mentioned this on my Instagram, I think. I don't know if I've said anything here or not, but I got put on this medicine that is a muscle relaxer. And my urologist really thought maybe that would help me. She wanted me to stay on that for several months, and I did. And that was like the worst because the side effects literally on, like right on it, say basically that you're gonna feel like you have the flu. So every single day that I woke up, I was super stuffy. I was like, always had a headache every single morning. It just was not a good time. I have to lean in a little closer for this. So I'm completely aware of how dramatic this next part is going to sound, but I really started to get nervous. Like, is this something that's going, like, whatever is going on, am I gonna be able to still like get pregnant and have babies? And like, I just was really getting in my head about it for the last few months because it felt like I had kept seeing this urologist. Every test that we were doing, ultrasounds and everything, were coming back normal. And I kind of felt like everybody that I was talking to were getting to the end and being like, I don't know, things look fine. And it was just me being like, things don't feel fine though. Finally, my last visit with my urologist, who, like I said, I really enjoyed her. She was like, you're, I think, gonna have to go see a gynecologist, because basically she had gotten to like the end of what she medically could do at her office. And I was so disappointed because I really wanted her to see me through it because I felt like she cared. Like my last visit with her wasn't like, I don't know, go see someone else. It was like, I literally can't do anything else for you. But she still really made me feel like heard and was like, I'm so sorry, you know, that you're going through this, whatever. So I am like, I'm not going back to the same office, because if she's sending me back to where, like, if this is going to be solved in a gynecologist's office and I started off in one and they just like sent me out the door, I'm not going back there. So a couple people had told me about this other doctor that is not super local to me, but I was like, I don't care. It's not like that far of a drive. People are saying that she's great. So I made an appointment, but the only thing was she couldn't see me for literally a month. And so in the meantime, my urologist was like, tell you what, let's just like check your kidneys and stuff and do a CT scan just to make sure there's nothing else that we can see going on like right now, like basically to rule out that it's an emergency. Never had a CT scan before. Again, the anxiety, I was like, this is gonna be terrible. I don't wanna go do this. If you guys are someone who, you're like me, you get anxious, you've never had a CT, let me just tell you, no big deal. You're literally like sleeping basically. I will say that I did get a little bit like, oh, this is getting like claustrophobic a little bit, because the little circle that they have you go in, you lay on a bed and you like go in a circle, come back out of it, go back in it, come back out of it. Something just moved in my trash can, but the circle moved. And anyways, I just at one point was like, okay, is this done? Like thinking in my head, I would never actually say that because also anxiety makes me not speak up when I need to. So I had my CT done, and I remember the lady, the little nurse there that did that for me, asking me how long I had been hurting, and I was like, since like March. She was like, since March, like kind of in disbelief that things were still going on. How much you guys want to bet this was a drunk call? Hello?
We are calling to assist you with your health insurance needs.
Then I just wait for a whole month thinking probably I'm gonna die. This is the most terrible thing ever of life. Like, what's going on, whatever, this whole time. Then I go to see this doctor, and oh wait, I'm sorry, I was missing a part. So like a week before I went for that next appointment with the new doctor, the urologist called me back and was like, oh, so your CT came back, right? Everything looks okay. You do have 2 pretty large cysts on both of your ovaries. And I was like, nice. Now let me do a little sidebar here and tell you guys, I say all the time I have PCOS. I was told that I have PCOS. I remember specifically that doctor appointment when I was really, really young, because I remember he didn't do anything. Like, I don't know how that's typically diagnosed. I still don't know, but he didn't like test for anything. We didn't do blood work. There was no like ultrasound, CT scan, literally anything. I just remember him being like, oh yeah, she has a hairy chin and hairy arms, so she probably has PCOS. And nobody ever asked any questions. It wasn't until this year that I started to kind of doubt that maybe I did have PCOS, because I was like, I don't know, I just feel like with all of this going on, I wonder if that's actually what this is. And also just something to note there is I've never really had any problems with PCOS, like majorly, until this year with all this. I really like this little eye look. I had a lot of fallout on this side for some reason though. Let me just also say too, this is like not the year to have anything done or to go through anything that you are anxious to go through alone, because all of these appointments, Dustin could basically, like, if he could go at all, drop me off at the door and then that was it. And I was just like, man, I feel like a baby because I don't want to be back here by myself. And so when it got to finally like the last few appointments at the urologist, my new appointment with the new doctor, I was like, just what do we have to do to get the answer to this? So I get to my new doctor and love the office, super sweet people. The nurse takes me back and she's like, so we were going to do an ultrasound, but when was your CT scan done? And I was like looking at my phone trying to remember what day I went on. She was trying to see if we got the records, if they got the records, and we were just like going through it. So then she says, usually if your CT was less than 2 weeks ago, we won't do an ultrasound. And I was like, this little mirror, I was about to use this, I can't, that is too small. Is my face that big? Wow. She's like, usually if your CT was less than 2 weeks ago, we won't do an ultrasound. And I was like, oh, because at the time they told me on the phone that we would start with an ultrasound. And like at the time of me scheduling it, I said, let me fax over those other records. Like we had a whole plan in place. So when I get there and she says that, I was a little like disappointed, I think. But also like whatever you say, like if we don't need to do it, we don't need to do it. And we checked and it was like, I can't remember exactly how many days, but it was just under 2 weeks, just under, like by a few days. So then she asks me like, do you want to do an ultrasound today? And so we get to the point where she's like, basically it won't hurt anything if we do it, but you might just have to come back in 2 weeks and do another one if like nothing looks different than your CT scan showed those cysts. And I was like, honestly, if it's not a big deal, can we actually go ahead and do it? Because like, I just feel like if we don't, I might leave and still not have any answers today. So she's like, yes, we can go ahead and we can do it today. Great. So we do it and come to find out both those cysts are gone because one had ruptured and the other one just kind of naturally took care of itself. And so anyways, I was really glad that we ended up doing the ultrasound because otherwise I would not have known that I had a ruptured cyst. So when I got back with the doctor finally, she was like, basically all of these things that you're feeling is consistent with the fact that you just had a cyst rupture. It does feel like a UTI, which I've never done a lot of research on cysts and like their rupturing, but I never knew that that could feel similar. But she said definitely it can. And it really makes sense when you think about it that if you have a cyst or if you have one rupture, that if like your ovaries here and your bladder's here and your cyst is like here, that it's pressing up against your bladder, which is why I was having so much pain all the time. So basically, I think what is going on, you guys, is that I have cysts basically every month that rupture. I felt it probably 2 times since that appointment. It's not constant, but just every once in a while for a few days, I'll kind of feel like, yeah, count me out. And yeah, so I don't know. I left that day and I was like, what's the game plan, you know, for taking care of this? And she said, take Advil. So like that was a little discouraging to hear, but honestly, when we got to the end of it, because everybody was kind of acting like, I don't know, this is a medical mystery. Hearing that it was something that was not super uncommon, something that was not life-threatening, something that was not like, oh yeah, well you're really gonna have a hard time getting pregnant. Now I could with PCOS, but you know, I was expecting much worse. This is primer, by the way. I just kind of felt a little relief knowing at least what it was, and kind of just to know, okay, so when this happens, I'm gonna have to like tell whoever I'm with, like I'm done today, like I need to go home, I need to, whatever it is, lay down, take a nap, put a heating pad on, be in sweatpants. And that's been a little discouraging for me because I feel like I've had to say no to some things. And maybe there's another way to treat this. So the other thing that I feel like definitely could play into it happening this year is the fact that I have gained so much weight from quarantine. I remember I started eating this one little meal that had a lot of bread in it, and I never realized that I might like have a roll with my dinner, but I'm not a super huge like bread eater. And I guess because I had that literally every single day, sometimes twice a day in quarantine, I just packed on the pounds. So when I heard that that's what this was, when I heard that I had cysts on my ovaries, since I heard that a little bit beforehand, I started being like, okay, let's see if I cut out some like sugar, some sodas, some bread, do a little workout, like if I can lose a little bit of weight. And so far today I have lost 10 pounds, and I'd like to lose another 10 at least. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not really embarrassed to talk about stuff like this because I feel like my whole thing in life in general is if I can go through something that you don't have to go through, or if you're going through, you can get your answer faster, like I'll do that. No problem. So, you know, some days things are good, and it's just like normal, and then some days there's a lot of crying and a lot of frustration and, you know, just getting through it. But basically my takeaways from it are this, and this is how I've been able to look at it kind of positively. Again, first of all, that it's none of those life-threatening or like really horrible things. 2, that I have had a lot of experience now medically, going places by myself, and you know, handling stuff by myself, which is a really good thing in the long run to have that under your belt. And basically, like, I don't know if I can make this make sense in out loud as well as it does in my head, but I feel like I have been to so many doctors and like offices this year for me, and like when Dustin had his little medical emergency and all that, I've really realized that some offices are hateful, and that's fine. I still need my answers, and I'm still paying you, you know, to give me them. If you can't, refer me to somebody that can. But I just feel like kind of towards the end of it, I got a little bit of like a thick skin about it with people, whereas before, like that lady, the nurse that I called when I'm like literally crying, I had to leave work because I was in so much pain. I've had a cyst freaking rupture, and I'm trying to still stand at my desk at my job and like work a normal day and act like nothing happened. And I'm not even like, I don't even know that's what happened to me. And when I call, you're being so rude that I'm saying I'm sorry to you for no other reason other than I called your office. That's ridiculous. So by the end of it, I felt like if I got on the phone with somebody that I felt like was being a little like short with me or rude with me, I'd just be like, ma'am, is there like an issue? You know, basically still be polite, but if I need to be a little stern, I can be. And I would say the last takeaway is this. You always hear people talk about this, but you never really, I don't know, I never really thought much of it. And that's that if you are feeling bad or sick or like something is wrong, chances are you were not being just a little like over the top. Now I know I have said several times in this video that I'm an anxious person, especially when it comes to medical things. I tend to think the worst, basically just so that I can prepare for the worst if I need to be prepared for the worst. And my point is, probably that's not a very likely thing in most cases. You are in your body, no one else is. And if you feel like something is wrong, you may have to push and push and push to get some answers on some things. But truly, like if I felt like, okay, so I have a UTI and I'm being dramatic, and just let it go and like try to deal with it, I never would have known that that is actually like a thing that's going on. And it does just help to know sometimes, like, I'm not being crazy about this, something is actually wrong. And I feel like even at the last office where everybody was very kind and very helpful and like willing to do whatever I needed, I still felt like I had to say, like, can we please do the ultrasound today? So just know that if you are growing up, or if you're grown up and you just don't like to do medical things by yourself, like me, that's fine, but you are gonna have to like assert yourself a little bit in some situations if you're gonna get some answers, because sometimes I always remember when I was little, my mom used to say when we would go to the doctor for anything that we had to be really over the top for things. So if our throat hurt like a little, we really had to throw a big fit about it, because otherwise the doctor wouldn't take us serious. And I don't necessarily agree with that mentality, but I do think that don't be dishonest, but be honest, and be honest loudly, because I think sometimes even with nice doctors, things can get dismissed. So basically that's the story of my life. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. That's what's been going on this year, and like I said, I feel like I hung in really well when I was still at work, but there was one day that I went in, I think it was just one day. I know that there was 2 days that were like really, really, really bad, but I don't think I went home the second time. But the first time I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to work today, I don't think, and I really hate to do that kind of thing, especially if I'm already at work. Like, I feel like I could pretty much be going through a lot of anything. The only 2 times I've gotten to work, actually there was a third time, a secret third time. I've only gotten to work 3 times my entire work career, and been like, I don't think I can get through this day. And so that was definitely one of them. I remember Dustin picking me up that day because his car was still totaled, and me just crying and crying. And like, I'm not talking crying like, woe is me, wah. I mean like, could not catch my breath. Like, I don't know that Dustin's ever seen me cry like that before, but I was just so frustrated, and I felt like I can't say what's going on, and I feel like am I being dramatic? I really don't know at this point. The further I get into this, the more I think there is no way I'm doing my hair today. Like I said, it's not embarrassing me to talk about it with you guys, because I feel like a few things. One, again, if I can be helpful to you and help you figure out something, by all means, let me do that. But 2, I just feel like you guys are my friends, and the same way that I would talk to friends if I had them about any of this, then I talk to you guys about it. Something else I got in that Walmart beauty box yesterday is this NYX butter gloss, which I completely forgot about these. I love these, and this one's in Sorbet, which it looks super like red in here, like a pinky red. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna like that, but it's so, like, it's pretty transparent once you blend it out, and it's so pretty. Okay, last thing, a little bit of highlighter, and then we're done, you guys. It's so funny, once you have makeup on, it feels like my hair doesn't even look that bad. Like, for me doing my hair, I'm thinking I'm just gonna do just a bun. Would that be acceptable? I think so. Literally the same hair that I started with. Anyway, that's my whole life story. Like I said, if you guys have had a similar experience, please tell me what it was like for you. Was it that difficult to get answers? Did it take that long to get answers? And if you guys have any questions on anything that I could help you with, I am happy to do it. I'm happy to be your cheerleader and just say, if you're scared, just go. Just, you know, 9 out of 10 times the things that I'm most anxious about don't end up being anything at all, and it's really hard to tell myself in the moment, like, driving to this doctor appointment by yourself and going by yourself is not the end of the world. The worst thing that could happen is nothing really bad at all, and I know that in the middle of those moments you can't really talk yourself down, but take it from me, It's totally doable. And whatever's gonna make you feel the most comfortable. When I had to go to the new office, I literally looked up, you guys, the floor plan of the building so I would know which floor to go to when I got there, because I was like, if I get there and I get lost when I'm in the building and I already feel like pressed for time even though I'm half an hour early, just do whatever is going to make you feel better. And honestly, if somebody going with you is going to make you feel better and somebody's available to, have them go with you. It is not, you can totally do 100% of the things that make you anxious. I promise that you can. I appreciate you guys watching this video and sticking around with me and having some girl talk with me. I love to talk to you guys like this because I feel like I chat like this with you guys on Instagram a lot through like messages. And so I hope that you enjoyed our little chat today as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and get filming a few other videos and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.